folks. We're back with another episode of the 6 Yard Line podcast. I'm Sean, that's Noel, and we're here to basically anoint the the Premier League title. Like, are we gonna officially say it, or are we gonna just
I
say
think
it,
it's fair to say it,
most
right?
likely?
Come
I
on.
mean,
If they
we're not.
if they bottle it now, it's at Tottenham Hotspur level of Spursiness if they bottle it now. Because let's be honest, they left it late this week. They got a win, and then City, failed us all. Failed all the Forest fans by not getting 3 points at West Ham. And City didn't even bounce back after getting pummeled by Madrid in midweek. They literally just laid an egg again on the thing. It's over. Stick a fork in it. It's done. Arsenal's 20-something year wait for the title. It's going back to the Emirates. There's no way of it. Should just win. I think that's it for me. I was looking at the schedule today, going, what date are we going to say that it's over? Because there isn't that many. We have 8 games left in the season. They are, yes, City's got that game in hand, but that's, still 6 points. I just don't see Arsenal giving away at this point.
Well, so if we look at the table, right? So Arsenal's got 70 points, City 61. So they've got a 9-point advantage. So with the game in hand, just say 6 points, right? If City's, depending on which city shows up for that game in hand, right? But here's where I think we kind of have to still pay close attention. If I'm correct, of Arsenal's, both Arsenal and City, if we look at their final matches, they play each other April 19th.
Which that's
right?
That's the thing. Though. If you look at Arsenal's remaining schedule, it is City, then they go to Newcastle, right? And then if you look after that, it's Fulham, West Ham, Burnley, and Palace.
Yep. But see, the key is for them is between now and that Man City game, they can't drop points.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And that's because going into that, if you look at, I haven't looked at City's final schedule, but I would assume Arsenal have a favorable final remaining games left of the season. 8 games remaining?
Yeah, so
to them because they've got a game in hand. So
you've got City has Chelsea, Arsenal, Burnley, Everton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Villa. Like that end
so
stretch.
It's
that end of the stretch.
I would say they have the hard. Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. That it's the last. Really, Arsenal's got Newcastle and City are their 2 biggest games, and then everybody else after that they should be able to beat with strength of schedule, strength of opponent. And then you just also you take into account the fact that City just doesn't look that great, and I think City they normally come hard and come fast after teams at this point in the season, but they drew with Forest, they drew with West Ham, they got pumped by Real Madrid. It's not the same City, it's not the same mentality. And I just don't see Arsenal giving up enough points for them to get back into it. If they do, then they're going to have to start calling Arsenal Spursy, or whatever the new word is for that. So,
everything is set for them to win it. Now, I guess here's the next question. So, both of us are pretty much conceding the title to them, right? Unless again, a Spursy collapse. How many trophies are they winning? Because Saturday I talked to one of our Arsenal friends, and they said 4. They're winning them all.
They're delusional. They won't win the championship.
Confident, and I would say this is of all that'll be the toughest one I think for them to get to the final. Simply because
they're not winning that
there's no slouch.
Yeah.
Right. But here's where they benefit, right? Because again, by the time they play City, they might be in a position where, a win or a draw against City and they clinch the title, or conceivably the title will be theirs. They can put their focus in the Champions League, and you know what I mean. And they also have the don't they have the Carabao Cup final coming up soon?
Yeah, against City. It's in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Actually, it might
right.
be. Actually, no. What they play? I think they play Bayer Leverkusen this week, don't they? The March 17th. That's
Yeah,
tomorrow.
the
Yeah. So they play. So it is on Sunday. They play. They play City in
March
the League
22nd.
Cup final on Sunday.
Yeah.
So
So, anyways, the point is, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for them.
I
But
think they'll win
again,
the League
you
Cup, and
know,
I think they'll
the
win the
titles
league.
up. Yeah,
That's where I think. That's where it's going to go.
I think, I think, I think for neutral observers or neutral fans, like or non-Arsenal fans, the next thing to see is City, seems secure in that second place position for the Champions League. Man United, Man United have definitely shown a massive improvement under Michael Carrick. And they seem like they're securing their, unless unless a massive collapse, they should securely be in a Champions League position. So I think that final, fourth spot. I know fifth. Actually, fifth isn't guaranteed for Champions League, is it?
You know what? You messaged me that today, and I was going to look at that up. I think it is right. I think it is fifth because the way I had it was Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool, and then I think it's going to be Villa over Chelsea.
See, the problem is Villa's going on such a collapse that
Yeah.
it's conceivable it could be Chelsea that sneak in above them.
Well, to be fair, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll stand corrected. I think it'll be Chelsea in fifth because I'm sure the PGMOL and the Premier League will get together to make sure that they finish
Let's
fifth. I will just say
yeah,
that's all I'm going to say. I just think I'm sure they'll get some help on the way. I'm sure Cole Palmer will get another 5 penalties before now and the end of the season just to make sure that they get fifth place.
yeah.
But I do think
I
Liverpool.
won't
I
get
do think
most started on that. The
Liverpool,
point
even
is,
with a dodgy Arnie slot, I think Liverpool's fourth easy. Um, I think it's just I think it's a pretty much it's as we stand. I think Villa's the only one I can see sliding in that top 6, and that's only because of their injury record. We talked about it, a few times. I just think it's pretty much set. I think that pull away is complete. There is gaps between the City and United. I think United's schedule is quite favorable. I think they've got like Leeds, Chelsea, Brentford, then they have Liverpool, and then it's like Sunderland, Forest, Brighton. I think if you look at their schedule, they've got quite an easy run in for those. So I think it's United in third. At the end of the day, I think is an amazing achievement for Michael Carrick. I don't think it's anything about Amorim, but I think it's all Michael Carrick, and that run that they've been on lately is, again on the weekend they put it away 3-1 right on the weekend, and in a game that if I think under Amorim would probably a draw or a loss. So I think they're clear. I think Liverpool, even though you guys screwed up on the weekend, not beating Tottenham, I do think this might be Arnie out. Let me say it that way. I just doesn't seem like I don't know what he's all over the place.
yeah, I don't, and me, I'm, I'll live and die by the club. However, there's something about Arnie Slot that just doesn't sit with me. Just like the vibe, the excuses, versus owning up your mistakes as a coach. That what you screwed this. Like I'm just, I'm, I just don't think he's the right fit because again, you can't have like. Are there holes that Liverpool need to fix? Yeah, but you can't have this depth of options in certain positions and not utilize them better.
Yeah,
Right.
but I
And
think
you
I
again, you
think you're
can't.
fourth though. That's not. It's still Champions League football. I don't think you're
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah.
I don't think you've got
I
anything to
just,
worry about that sense. I think at the end of the
I
day,
guess,
like it could be worse,
yeah,
right?
like 100%. Like I just think from when you go from the high of a high last season to the struggles of this season. It just, from a Liverpool fans perspective, it doesn't make sense. But enough of that. I won't stress on that. The point is, I think we know which 16. Well, we know where 1 and 2 are, but we know which the next 4 teams that are battling for 3 positions, right?
Yeah, I can't see Chelsea's wildly inconsistent. Like they're win, draw, draw, loss, win. Like, and you don't know
So we're
which Chelsea's going to turn up.
yeah,
Brentford still has a shot, but I think Brentford blew a little bit of that today because they drew 1-1, 2-2 with Wolves today. I
yeah,
forgot that was,
that was
I even forgot there was a Monday game on, but I just think Chelsea, if they go on a little bit of a run, I think, if you look at their fixtures, they've got City, United, Brighton, Forest, Liverpool, Spurs, Sunderland. They've got a really rough stretch. So that's why I'm fairly confident they'll be, United, Liverpool. And then that's why I thought Villa, because I thought Villa's run's a bit easier in. Yes, they're light some players. Yes, they're battling in the Europa League like Forest, where that is taking up a lot of time too. So I just don't see in Chelsea and Liam Rossini, they're a hot mess, right? You just take the other stuff out of it. Like you don't know what you're going to get with them on any given day. Last week they played really well and won, and then the previous 2 weeks they looked awful. So again, you talk about coaching, no different there. I think Liam Rossini is just, he seems to be a little bit out to lunch right now, and I just don't think that they, for all the money they spend and for all the things they do, I just don't seem to think they are getting the best out of everybody on that team.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. So, as it stands, Arsenal again is first, Man City second, United third, Villa fourth, Liverpool fifth, and Chelsea sixth. But for the next few weeks, we could see teams, changing positions on a weekly basis for the next couple weeks.
I don't think it's going to change that much. I think it's pretty much going to be it's going to
It,
be 1 or 2 spots that go. And I think at the end of the day, it's not a lot it's not a stretch to say that, right? It's not.
and I guess for me, I'm not I've lost the confidence in the squad for me to feel, because we still have to play Chelsea. I think we still have to play United again.
Yeah, you
Um,
do.
so like those are matches against teams that are in and around the position that we're in. So those are massive games. And that's where I wonder, like, when you're dropping games like we did on the weekend, it worries me.
Yeah, but I think everyone in that 3rd to 20th, it's a week in and week out. Who knows what you're going to get with it? Half of these teams, right? You said it to me on Saturday. It's been a weird old season. I think at the end of the day,
Yep.
Arsenal's going to win the title because they've been the most consistent on everything they do, from their goals, from the play, from their,
They've been the
their
best
late
team in
wins.
the
They
league
have been
at the end of the
consistent. And
day.
I thought this was the same with Liverpool last year. Liverpool won the league, not because they were brilliant, but because they were consistent. And I think week in and week out, the rest of the league hasn't been that way. And I think Arsenal have been the way Liverpool were last year. They haven't been flashy. They haven't been overpowering. They've just done their jobs, and they've just got results when they needed to get results. And that's no different than the Liverpool side that won the league last year. I think consistency is the massive key. And I think at the end of the day, that's what will crown them champions this year.
And it does help when you aren't faced with, stiff like literally this isn't a two-man race. It really has been an Arsenal leading majority of the way. There's been moments where it looked like, City or whoever else, but at the end of the day, it really has been Arsenal's kind of pulled away and has just kept there.
It's very much a carbon copy of last season. That's how we sat here and talked about this last year with Liverpool. They just won when everybody else lost, and that's the difference between being the champions and not being the champions. It's just the fact is you've got consistency in what you do. But
That's fair.
it's not the
Well,
most
that's
exciting
that's
season, but I think it's more interesting in the lower half of the table than it is the top half of the table.
Yeah. So let's see how things play out in the remaining 9 games of the season, and see where everyone ends up. But yeah, that's it for the Arsenal champion slash Champions League positioning race. More to come from Noel and myself, but that's it for this brief episode. And as usual, don't forget to hit that like button. And of course, if you're not already, please, please, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. That's it for me, and that's it for Noel. We'll talk to you later.
Guys. Thanks for watching.
Peace.